Hey guys, Dave here. Welcome back to the Post Show. We had a lot of fun doing this last week, so we're back at it again. This week we talked about Falcon and the Winter Soldier right before the finale, the new anime called To Your Eternity that is getting a ton of hype right now, Shang-Chi, Made in Abyss, and the Lord of the Rings show that Amazon is making for a preposterous amount of money, and Tarantino movies, and a bunch more stuff. So please feel free to tune in. If there's anything you'd like us to talk about on future episodes of the Post Show, let us know. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Oh, hey, Grant.
Oh, hey, Dave.
That was fun.
That was good. Yeah.
My hero's heating up. I hope they keep a consistent pace on my hero, like, throughout, like, what last episode was like. I could do that for, like, 5 or 6 more. But like I said, I really hope they, like, explore that, like, main thread.
Well, if I had to guess, like in my heart of hearts, I don't like. If anything, I think it's gonna be breadcrumbed. I feel like we're gonna get.
I think you're totally right. They're gonna breadcrumb that main plot line for 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Well, they already have for 4, but like another 4.
Yeah. If anything, they're gonna throw in like Mirio and the gang, because I feel like we might see Aerie again soon. And that, but I do think it's going to be like a pretty dead fast pace, because there's only going to be like five fights in total, so 5 episodes of like singular, and like probably the Midoriya one and Shinja one. But that'd be my guess, 1 or 2, or at least 1, probably 2 would be my guess. But yeah, whatever. No, it's good. It's
Did you catch up on Falcon Winter Soldier?
I did, yeah.
I think the finale is this week, right?
Yeah.
A couple days. By the time this airs, the finale will be taking place.
Yeah. Well, Friday. Yeah, when this comes out on Friday, we'll be hopefully watching it Friday night.
Yeah.
But
so, what are your thoughts now that you're caught up?
So I've been really wanting to talk to you about it, because like I don't think we've really talked about the Falcon Winter Soldier at all so far.
A little, tidbits here and there. Like, because the pilot was like decent, but like it really didn't tell you. It didn't tell us much about what the show was going to be.
No, I wasn't too hot on the first episode, just because like it's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I want to see the two of them. You know, I found when they were by themselves, it just wasn't very interesting. Like that opening action sequence was probably some of the best stuff Marvel's ever done, in my opinion. Like the Falcon fight with like through the
in the pilot with
GSP there.
Yeah.
That was like I think they're somewhere in the Middle East, and they're kind of like
they took out the checkbook for that one.
Yeah, well, I think that was they wanted to set a tone, but which I found funny, because like there was no follow through for like 2 more episodes.
Yeah, they like set a tone and then like backed up off it.
Yeah. So
whatever.
So the first episode was whatever. The second one, like they're meeting up and all that. They're like the joke. Like it was very joke heavy. But when they brought in Daniel Bruhl back as Baron Zemo, like the show just kicked off. Like that dude, no, he is too good of an actor to be on this show. But he delivers. It's so funny because like he is a tremendous actor, but he's purposely playing ham for the sake of the character. Like he's love it. I love to see that, like when you see someone that's like overqualified, but they bring exactly what the character requires. It's mad respect for that. And
I mean, that's like, it feels like that's like most of the Marvel characters, right? Like,
sure.
Because like in terms of like acting performances, they don't get to do a ton, but everyone playing any character in the MC, like especially if you're leading a movie, you're an A-lister 3 times over. You know what I mean? But yeah, Daniel Bruhl is such a good example. That guy is, or like, oh man, what's the guy that played young Hannibal?
Young Hannibal.
It's a show, Hannibal.
Like Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah, Mads Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
It's like he is such a ridiculously superb actor, and he does so remarkably little in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, that's such a bummer. Like villain-wise, like they had such.
But like that's a lot of what they do, and I'm not like shit.
But so this is where the Zemo thing is important, because I think Marvel might be aware that they can like truly tell the story they want to tell through TV. I think the big like movie empire is about to slow the fuck down, and they're about to put out 10 of these shows. Did you see the casting news today on or the past couple days about the MCU shows?
No.
So Emilia Clarke is going to be in Secret Invasion.
What?
Or Secret Wars. And Olivia Colman is going to be in... What's the next... Oh, fuck. There's Secret Wars, and then there's... Yeah, so Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke are going to be in Secret Wars.
What is the Secret Wars one again? Isn't that actually ironic? Like, just as a sidebar, wasn't it like the Russos, like, didn't they say, like, oh, we'll only ever come back for Secret Wars? Like, isn't that like a really famous comic book series?
Yeah, it's the it's all the Skrull stuff, like from Captain Marvel.
Yeah. What? So what do they do?
Like the shapeshifters.
Yeah, I remember them. So like, what's the plot?
I think, again, I'm not very embedded into Marvel comic book lore, but I do believe it's like the Skrulls have been on Earth for like a long time.
Yeah.
And they've slowly like embedded themselves into throughout the world. And Power's a position and not. And I think it kind of like comes to like, I don't know. I think it might have to do with the Kree, because I know the Kree and like the Skrulls are always beefing about something.
Yeah.
Because that was like a plot of Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I remember that part.
So I don't know. I don't know super in depth, but just like the heavyweight acting they're bringing in for these shows, it's tremendous. But
Emilia Clarke, yeah, that's a big pull.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Olivia Colman too, like Oscar winner, like
there's some ridiculous, obscene stat. Like fucking in the MCU, there's like 14 Oscar-winning actors or something ridiculous. I don't know if it's 14, but it is ridiculous.
But my point being, like, they're now, like, and this goes back to WandaVision too, with Catherine Hahn doing Agatha. Like, they're able to actually flesh out villains now to give them some substance. It's not one note, and like, and again, a further point, like I was talking about Mads Mikkelsen, like it would have been so much better to have him in a TV show format to like really make that villain like something.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll agree. Like, I think what most people would say is like, we're not saying these are like the best TV shows of all time, but it is very hard not to argue that these characters get more depth in this medium. Like, it's just simply they get more time.
Yeah.
More time on the clock, the more time you have to explore any of this stuff. Like, Sebastian Stan has had by far his best moments as Bucky in this series. Like that episode 4 opening scene where they try and they test it for the first time to see if
Wakanda.
In Wakanda. I thought it was cool that they actually did that.
Yeah.
But they weren't taking time for that kind of stuff.
No.
Because he wasn't, a front running character, and he didn't need that development. He just needed to like do what the script said he had to do.
Yeah.
And because this show existed, he got to do that, and the audience clearly has an appetite for it. Same with Elizabeth Olsen in WandaVision. She crushed it.
She did. So far, like when it comes down to acting performance of the Marvel shows, like I think she's still the biggest standout.
Yeah.
Like, and then and two, I'm completely blanking on his actual name.
Paul Bettany?
No, Falcon.
Anthony Mackie.
Anthony Mackie, sorry. I find like Sebastian Stan has had some moments too, but he's kind of playing a muted character a little bit.
Totally.
But Anthony Mackie is finally getting. I find like I've always liked the character, and it's always kind of bummed me out because he was introduced in
Winter Soldier,
and like he's it's not like he was just like being strung along as like Cap's little buddy. But like it kind of felt like that at times. Like he wasn't taken seriously by a lot of the other,
right?
And he's clearly a leading man. Like, and this show has proven that, in my opinion. I'm ready for more Anthony Mackie. Like, he was great. Did you watch Altered Carbon?
No, neither season.
Well, I watched the first season because like my guy is Joel Kinnaman. Like, love him, absolute man crush on him, and so like the whole plot of the show is like you can switch skins, right? Like it's kind of like if cyberpunk, Blade Runner, future-esque kind of world. But Anthony Mackie plays like the main like skin suit kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
In season 2, it's canceled obviously. Now, which is a bummer. But like he was fucking great. Like and he's better in that. I think he's better in that than he is in this. But
his strongest episode, I think, was this most recent one.
Yes.
Just like the penultimate, right before the finale, he made some big strides. So it'll be interesting to see how they wrap it up.
But in catching up, like episode 4 was really good.
Big time.
Like season 3, episode 3 was good. You know, there was a lot of, I think we had, because that was the last one I had watched. I think you and I had talked about some of the fights, and it was kind of just like whatever.
Yeah,
it's just like kind of like repeat Winter Soldier, Civil War, like normal person on normal person fighting.
Yeah, it was. I thought it might be even a bit of a step down, but like that's not like a huge criticism. Like, like there's those movies get so much budget and have so much time to rehearse choreography. You know what I mean?
And that was the thing too. We had that, like, there's that scene in the bar, and there's the chance for like Bucky just to unload.
Yeah.
And like they cut it short. Like they set it up to being like this big epic battle, and it's cut short in 10 seconds. But the nice thing about episodes 4 and 5 is they let them breathe, and they let them have their fights. Like that fight with, you know, Bucky and Sam against is it John Walker?
John Walker, yeah.
Like unreal.
Yeah.
Like really good choreography, and like just and the way he rips his wings off, I was like, oh fuck. Like they clearly set up he's Captain America now, right? Like Falcon's dead.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. I mean, I would like leave the door open because like who knows, like maybe he gets the wings and the shield, I don't know. But like but no, I think, you know, he's got like the suit, the wings are gone. I think it's like pretty safe to say. I also think if they want to have some fun, if they want to take some creative risk, and like they seem to be a little bit more open to that right now, like it might be a good time to kill Bucky. Like, you know, it would be tragic. His whole character is pretty damn tragic. Yeah. So what are you rubbing?
You think they're gonna do Bucky dirty?
What is being rubbed? Do you hear that? Anyway, sorry. Yeah, but you don't think they'll kill him?
I don't know. It's hard to say. Like, I don't know. If the world didn't want him to play Luke Skywalker so bad, I would say like he's definitely good. Like he's safe. But if the word is out there that people want him for Luke, and if Disney sees there's like some eyes on it, then
I'm curious. You know. Does that ever? And I'm not shitting on the idea because, like, I fucking love Sebastian Stan. But does that ever work out where, like, fans, like, their giant petitions actually force a studio to cast somebody?
Well, no, like, and I'm not saying that that's what would happen, but, like, in this instance, they have someone who's already embedded in the ecosystem. They have someone who has interest in playing the character. They have someone who oddly looks like the character to a certain degree. They have a blessing from the original actor. You know, it's kind of like a weird.
Oh my god, yeah.
It's kind of like a weird melting pot. You know, it's all hearsay still, but like.
Have they committed to any kind of Luke anything? Like any kind of Luke storyline?
Well, I'm not gonna get into that there because you still need to watch The Mandalorian. But like.
Right. Okay. So, but there's potential.
I think there's a lot of substance to potentially, like, if not him, someone else.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. Anyways, to the point, I'm liking Winter Soldier a lot more, and I'm actually liking it more than I am WandaVision, believe it or not. Just because I find towards the end of WandaVision, it got a little sloppy, just a little. It was kind of all over the place, and
it was a really, really rough finale. Like,
yeah,
like I mean, and I'm not saying it was bad, but it was like. Yep. Like, we really couldn't resist the sky beam, like, just once. Like, we, you know, like, and it was worse because, like, the budget wasn't there. So, one, you couldn't resist the effects battle. And two, the effects weren't even great this time. So, it was like...
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, like, I watched the damn thing. Like, I'm a fan. So, like, I just want it to be good.
And that's the thing, too. Yeah. Like, I know my argument, you know, at the end, you know, we had talked about this, but... you know, it came down to, like, the superhero had to punch the villain in the face, you know, exactly like you said. Mm-hmm. But, like, the difference between that and, you know, in Falcon and Winter Soldier, like, there's some substance between the showdown of said villain and hero punching themselves in the face. You know what I mean? Like, it was all context. Like, if WandaVision from the get-go was a very, like, action-heavy and out there and, you know, it was more about building the world and telling the story. This is more... kind of a cap, you know, it's capping off the journey for these two characters.
Yeah.
You know, it's not starting a new one. I guess in a way, I think for Sam, obviously it
Mm-hmm.
is. And, you know, now that we talk about it, they might ice Bucky. Who knows? Like,
I think it might make sense. They might give him a bit of closure. You know, it seems clear, like, you know, there's going to be one more big fight probably with Sam and John Walker and maybe Bucky. But I think before that happens, my prediction is Bucky finds closure and tells the Asian guy from the pilot what happened.
yeah.
Comes clean. He's forgiven and he's happy. And he had like a bunch of like happy-go-lucky, like smiley scenes in the 5th episode, like with Sam's family. and even the kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he found some peace and like maybe a little bit of closure, and I think he might catch one like sacrificing himself for his buddy or something. Because
Yeah,
you know
definitely.
they've been talking about how they're not friends, but they clearly are. That's sort of like
Yeah.
one of the themes. Anyway, I'm not gonna live or die on that prediction, but I think like it would make a bit of sense.
No, I agree.
Do
How about Shang-Chi?
So I know nothing about that one.
No, I know nothing about it either.
Shang-Chi and Legend of the Ten Rings, Marvel thing. So all I know is that it gave me Iron Fist anxiety. I was like, oh my god, please don't fuck this up. And I'm not talking about like...
You want to have a conversation, Dave?
Uh-oh.
I liked Iron Fist.
Oh,
Devin and I, you talk to either of us, we will both say, like, it was cheesy as fucking moments, but, like, it was, in my opinion...
Oh my god.
It hit, like... You know, like, a lot of, like, old, like, kung fu and martial arts movies, there's always that layer of cheese.
Oh
But
yeah.
there's always that layer of cheese, but, like, a big part of it is the physicality and the dedication to the work. Like, you know, like, the home sick days of me watching Jackie Chan movies over and over and over growing up. Like, that's, you know, that was just, like, what we did growing up, you know?
Yeah.
So Iron Fist was, like, it wasn't that hard of a pill for us to swallow.
Really?
You know?
Eh?
So, like, and like, Dave, I'm not going to say it's, like, one of the best things, like, Marvel ever did, because it's just blatantly not, but, like,
Yeah.
it is nowhere near as bad as anyone. And
Well,
none of those shows were. I liked all of those, like, the Netflix shows.
Well,
I think that's
yeah.
a travesty that
So
they're gone,
here's,
but...
I totally agree. Daredevil is specifically. But here's the thing, right? Is like there's this like effect of like something is objectively bad. You
Sure.
know, I'm not saying Iron Fist is objectively bad, but hear me out. Like think about a couple things. Like
yeah, it was bad. Like, I'm not gonna...
Yeah.
I liked it. I'm
So-
not gonna disagree with you.
So here's my point, right? You take Iron Fist, Suicide Squad, and Game of Thrones, the final season, and like I would say none of them were great. They're probably closer to bad than good. However, the internet gets so fucking angry.
Oh, true.
And it's
Yeah.
not like, you know, let's say I thought Iron those things are a 4 out of 10 or a 5 out of 10. The internet's opinion is unnegotiably they are 1s out of 10. If you like them, if you think there's anything remotely redeemable,
Yeah.
you're an idiot. You don't know entertainment. You don't know storytelling. It's like, okay, Jesus, relax. You know, like, I'm definitely not on that wavelength of, like, Iron Fist was a mistake and it shouldn't have
Sure.
been created. I would just say it was probably among the weaker of the projects that they've taken on, and it didn't really work for me.
Yeah, 100%.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, when they got down to brass tacks and they were fighting, it was kind of dope as shit. You know?
Yeah,
like
I-
when they took all like, I would be a little bummed if they ever brought Iron Fist back. If they did not give that dude another shot, I would be kind of bummed.
It would be kind of silly, yeah, because a lot of the stuff that you hear about that show specifically is budget and prep related. Like, you know, a lot of the complaints are about the fights in the first season, and the guy came out and he's like, "Yo, I had 6 weeks of prep."
Yeah.
He's like, these like people that do these movies have 6 fucking months of prep. So yeah, I feel like he probably didn't really get a fair shake, and that happens sometimes. I really liked Daredevil.
Daredevil was good. Punisher was good. Luke Cage was great.
Punisher,
and
yeah.
I like Jessica Jones as well. I will say I didn't watch the second season, but I really liked the first.
First season was really good, and I'm not being a negative Nancy, but my hot take on Jessica Jones, which I still think stands, is that Jessica Jones is the worst part of Jessica Jones. Kristen Ritter is almost a reliable miss, and everyone in that show is so goddamn good. Like, what's his face? The villain, obviously.
Oh, David Tennant. Yeah.
David Tennant crushes season 1. And her best friend, it's been so many years since that show came out.
Oh, the junkie.
The best friend, the junkie, destroys in scenes.
He was good. Fuck, I forgot.
And then her, like, best friend, who's, like, the blonde, who's meant to be, like, kind of a supporting character, ends up getting, getting these juicy parts into season 2, and is, like, pretty compelling. But yeah, like, and the only time that it sometimes fell flat for me was with actual Jessica Jones, but I thought that was a good one too. Yeah, but I mean, you know, it makes sense. Like, Disney was like, "Okay, we're canceling Netflix, we're bringing it all in house," and then, like, when they bring it in house, they put out WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier, which are like,
well, it was a timing thing too, right? Like, they weren't allowed to touch it for like a good period of time, so like Daredevil is Marvel's, like, historically one of their biggest fucking properties. There is no way they're not going to go back to that, and they need to give it back to Charlie Cox, because that dude was stellar. Like,
yo, dude,
anything he touches is tremendous.
It's crazy too when you compare Charlie Cox's interpretation of Daredevil to poor old Ben Affleck. Speaking of Ben Affleck, I watched Argo for the first time, like, last week.
Oh yeah, that's a movie.
Yeah, it's good. Won Best Picture.
I don't buy that.
It did.
What year was that? No, I know it did, but what? Let's look up Argo Best Picture. What year was that? 2002. So 2013.
No
Oscars.
way.
Yeah.
Wait,
or 2012. Sorry, I was reading that wrong. All right.
Oh, you don't believe it won Best Picture?
No, I want to. No. I believe it. I 100% believe. I know for a fact it did. I'm just now curious what it went up against. Because that was one of those movies I saw it and I did not get it.
It's tough. I watched it, like, I haven't seen it since, this is the first time I watched it, and at the end of it, I was like, okay, that's an Oscar contending film. It hit me like that. Like, I remember the third act was incredibly strong. The pacing was well done. I don't think any of the performances knocked me on my ass. I don't know if they got any nominations for acting or anything, but pacing, direction, solid. Did you find out what it competed against?
Yeah, so Amour, I'm not sure what that is. It might be international. Beasts of Southern Wild, Django Unchained, Les Miserables, Life of Pi, Lincoln, Silver Linings Playbook, and Zero Dark 30.
That's actually a lot of competition. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. All those movies are really good.
Yeah.
Wow. A bit like
I'm biased.
But won everything. Django. Jesus.
That's the shit. I remember seeing that with my dad. I convinced my dad.
Django?
Yeah, because when I was younger, I begged him to take me to go see the first Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, that's just, I don't know. I think Tarantino's just not his speed. Like, my dad likes action movies and all that, but I think, you know, Tarantino's just like a step too far for him.
Sure.
And you know, like, and he even remembered when I asked him, like, can we go see Django? And he was like, it's gonna be like the last Tarantino movie. And like, there's that shootout at the end, and I could just, like, in my dad in the seat next to me just going like, oh, and like, we're just getting lit up inside the manor.
It's so funny. I remember like the artsy people were like, did we really need that last scene of just crazy violence for no reason? Yeah. I remember, like, it's just funny how people, like, take it. That movie stands for me, like, the test of time. I can watch Django.
That might be my, I don't know. I got a soft spot for Kill Bill.
Dude, me too. A lot of people, they're like, oh, you know, those are really the only ones that don't work. And I'm like, man, what? Like, how do they not work? It's Tarantino doing a 2-movie, like, you know how the whole fucking all the headlines about Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it was like, oh, this is his love letter to Hollywood. Like, Kill Bill was so clearly his love letter to like the Kung Fu movie, and like Kung Fu movies done by Tarantino. Like, how is that not a winning combination? It crushed.
It's tremendous.
And what's the name of the lead?
Uma Thurman.
Uma Thurman, for Christ's sake, like, crushes.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, yeah, but Django Unchained, I think, is Inglourious Basterds is great. You know what? Here's
might be my favorite.
What's your Tarantino power ranking?
Oh no!
Here we go. I'm gonna pull it up right now. Quentin Tarantino.
Like how, like, where do what's at my top?
Yeah, let's just
Top to bottom?
Okay, I got
I got
I'll
it.
read the movies off to you right now.
I got it. Okay. I don't want to be destroyed off this, okay? I don't want you to attack me.
No, this is all personal preference. I love all these movies, so like it's not like you're trying to shoot any of them out, but
I'm going to go. Man, I love them. Like the problem is, like, the top 4 or 5 is so tight, and then the bottom is loose for me, right? So
it's all hypothetical, Dave.
Yeah, so I would start. I'm gonna have to start with Inglourious Bastards, Pulp Fiction, Kill Bill 1, Django, Kill Bill 2, Reservoir Dogs, Hateful Eight, and I haven't seen Jackie Brown.
Oh, Dave, that's a good one. That's his most grounded movie.
Oh, fuck, I completely forgot about Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time's at my bot, like it was good, but it's at the bottom, so after Reservoir Dogs. I liked Reservoir Dogs more than What about you?
I would do Kill Bill 1.
Yeah.
Django.
Yeah.
Glorious Bastards.
Yep.
Volume 2. Jackie Brown.
Oh my god.
Pulp Fiction. Reservoir Dogs. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. No. I've only seen that the one time. It's hard. Maybe Hateful Eight and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I like the Hateful Eight. I like Westerns too.
Yeah, so Yeah, I mean, that was such an indulgent movie.
Mm-hmm. In so many ways, yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you about, it's a bit of a shift, but have you heard of or seen To Your Eternity, the anime?
It's on my watch list, actually. I've been planning on checking that out.
Let me rave about this really quick.
Yeah.
So, we've been doing this for a while. I think the Attack on Titan podcast was over 4 months, right? So we've been at it for a bit.
I know.
And people are listening, but recently people I talk to every day are like, "Hey, you're doing a podcast?" I'm like, "What?" But yeah, and then I'm getting a lot of people who are like, "Oh, what anime should I watch?" And it's actually a really tricky question. If you haven't watched anime,
yeah,
because just there's so much out there, and so much of it is good, and so much of it is bad, and so much of it kind of demands that you know what anime is about, which is kind of tricky.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get too highbrow, but what I will say is that To Your Eternity, there's only one episode out. I think the second episode comes out today.
Yeah,
or whatever.
I think it's out now. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I only watched the pilot. It's 20 minutes. It's on Crunchyroll, which you can get for a free trial. It is in 20 minutes a great example of why anime is a medium that people love so much. And why certain stories can only be told kind of in this format. Watch the pilot of To Your Eternity. It is well written. It's emotional. It's well drawn. It's nice to look at, and it would be a nightmare to try and shoot a pilot of that in live action. It just it just wouldn't work. And it's creative. I think it's a great introduction to people who haven't seen a ton of anime. And yeah, dude, it slaps.
Oh, I definitely plan on checking that out. If not tonight, this weekend. The word on the street is it's going to break our hearts, though, Dave.
Yeah, I'm down. I don't want to spoil you, but the first episode sets a tone, and I'm like, oh my god, this is just so goddamn good. But I think we talked about this. Effective storytelling often, it makes you feel something, and it's allowed to be sad.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that if something can make you sad in 20 minutes,
sure,
you know what I mean? I think that's pretty tight.
It's pretty powerful, yeah. So Leanne and I, we finally found a new show that we were a new anime that neither of us had seen.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of Made in Abyss?
No.
So you know, I think Leanna was looking up because we had watched The Promised Neverland together, and
did season 2 blow it for that show? Sidebar.
I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the case. Like, I think it's just a case of trying to consolidate a lot of arcs into like one season. And then
I haven't seen even the first season, so
no, I know, but like some creative liberties. And I think Leanna, she's like, well, let's just watch it and see. And it's like, no, you're right, we haven't read the manga, so like it doesn't matter, I guess. But I think initially that was the problem. It was like straying very far from the story.
Oh, okay.
But as the season has ended, I think the consensus is it just wasn't good. But that could also be being internet and saying like, no, this isn't the way I wanted my thing to go, so I'm gonna like.
But
again, I don't
did
know.
You wrap it up or no?
We haven't started season 2 because it's.
Oh,
I think it's. I don't know if it's like a timed exclusive to Funimation for a little while.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and again, like we've said this before, like I could care less. It's just, you know, I'd rather just stick with one. And if it's something I really want, I'll go seeking out on another app. But if it's not on Netflix or Crunchyroll, you know, I'll get to it at some point. Like I write it down, I'll get to it. But it's anyway. So Leanna was kind of like looking up shows similar to The Promised Neverland. And this was one of the ones that came up on the list. And again, like highly recommended if you like Promised Neverland. Check out Made in Abyss.
Made in Abyss?
Made in Abyss. It's actually on Prime. There's only one season. I do believe a sequel movie was announced recently.
Oh, okay.
And people are pretty stoked on that. Dave, by far one of the most beautiful anime I have ever laid my eyes on.
Really?
Yeah, very like the world is so rich and lush, and like the, you know, like just like the dynamics of the world. Like, so I guess to like wrap it up, I think there was some, I don't know if just some hole appeared in the world, or maybe I might have missed that, or if there was like a comet or something. But there's just this giant hole they call the Abyss, and so pretty much the whole planet. I don't think it's Earth necessarily, but this whole planet has been completely, like, everything's been discovered. They know where everything is. All that's left is like this hole, and there's multiple layers that go down. And as you go down these layers, the harder it is to go back up as you go down. So there's like over like centuries, people have built like there's like a full massive city surrounding this giant hole in the earth, and people go down there like they're essentially like treasure hunters. And it follows a group of kids. They work in an orphanage, and this orphanage is a part of this like archaeological society, and like they go down there to find like these rare artifacts. And you know, like it's, I will say there's some very fucking weird like cinematography. Like they're very loose with clothing and children in this show, because like they're kids, like they're 12 years old, and that's kind of like a hard pill to swallow. It's a little strange, but like just like the monster design, and as they like the like just like the rules they set up for this world. Like I think there's a point, if you go down so low, you cannot return, because like you'll just die of exhaustion. Like there's like almost like a mystical element to the hole itself. And we're, you know, I think there's 12 episodes. I think we're 4 or 5 in there now. Like we're just getting right to the like the brunt of it. The main characters have kind of, and there's like a, you know, like the girl, like the main character, she finds like this, he's essentially an android. He's like a boy, like a little boy, and like clearly like, you know, has like a laser arm and like super overpowered, and it's like an amnesia story. And and this girl, she just really, really wants to be like, you know, explorer. She wants to go down. I think her mom's down there because she's like one of the most famous, you know, like miner, or, you know, very, very cool. Like it's kind of a short run, but it's also, it's very heavy and it's not bingeable at all, which is kind of nice. You watch 1 or 2 episodes and you're like, okay, I'll put this off for a night. So we've been enjoying that.
Made in Abyss.
Made in Abyss. Yeah, it honestly, like, I highly recommend it. I think we're gonna watch Vinland Saga next, though.
Dude.
Yeah. Leanna saw that on the list, and I was like, oh yeah, Dave was telling me about that. And she was like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, he had a lot of praise for that one. So.
Yeah. Like, I don't know why that popped up on my, like, on YouTube, like people reviewing it all of a sudden. I was like, what? Like, hasn't it been done for a while? Like, I'm pretty sure they're doing a season 2, but yeah, man, big recommendation on Vinland Saga. But yeah, I'll check out Made in Abyss. Yeah. You know what else? Oh, actually, before I tell you that I started watching Ted Lasso,
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I'll just tell you, what a weird show. And also,
I know nothing about it. I know it's like very positive and happy-go-lucky.
yeah, Jason Sudeikis. Jesus Christ. Is that who it is?
What a guy. Yeah.
Yes. Man, I think he won an Emmy for it, actually. And
Oh,
today, and today they announced season 2 is coming in July, so whatever.
I
Good for
did
him.
see that, yeah.
That was my whole point about Ted Lasso. Yeah, happy-go-lucky, go nuts. But I wanted to say, have you seen the news on how much money Amazon is pouring into the Lord of the Rings
like
show?
$450 million.
Dude, $450 million for a single season that doesn't include the $250 million they paid for the rights.
Oh yeah, Dave. Like it's
What?
I don't know. I just hope it's good.
This is more expensive per episode than the Disney shows and the last season of Game of Thrones.
If you had fuck off money like Bezos,
I mean,
what would
yeah,
you do
but
with it? Like, I would buy the rights to Lord of the Rings. I would,
Jesus.
I would craft cities out of real stone and wood. Like I would sell it.
It's like, yeah, where'd all the money go? Bezos is like, oh, well, we built Minas Tirith. I mean, I thought that's how we do it here.
Yeah.
Just got all the Amazon warehouse workers. We sent them out there.
We had to chop down, millions of acres of rainforest in New Zealand, but it's gonna look sweet.
It's fucking Bezos. But yeah, all right, yeah, okay. So you did see that, yeah. $450 million for a single season, not including the rights. Jesus Christ, it better not suck. I'll tell you that right now. That's the problem when these budgets come out. It's like it better not. I remember. I haven't even admittedly watched a lot of it, but Star Trek Discovery, that kept getting delayed, and it was like, yo, they're spending like as much money per episode in season 1 as like Game of Thrones. Like, so this better be Game of Thrones quality. And this was when, people loved Game of Thrones. And then I think it got like meh reviews. When you've got your budget hanging over your head like that, people expect, it feels like the stakes get raised a little bit.
Sure.
Anyway.
But like, I guess there's no real one-to-one comparison, but like look at all the money they throw at the Marvel movies, and they're pretty consistent with those. But it's different, like it's TV.
Yeah. So. It's crazy. Marvel can they just so consistently have gotten such ridiculous returns on their movies. Like, I don't think one of them has lost money at a 22 or whatever they're at now, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
But yeah. I don't know.
Lord of the Rings, man. I'm ready for it. I think it's been long enough since we've had anything of note. Like it feels like the right time.
Actually, on that note of like, things not working out, do you think that in retrospect, like, because you just said it's been long enough, we're like ready for a TV show for Lord of the Rings?
Sure.
Do you think in retrospect those Hobbit movies as a 3-piece was regrettable?
Regrettable?
Yeah, like, do you think they should have forced that into a trilogy, or do you think it should have been a standalone? I just remember people being fired up about it at the time.
In what way? Like, not liking, or people were fired up in excitement?
Both. I thought it was like a hotly debated thing. People were like, why would you make this a trilogy? It didn't need to be a trilogy. Like, you're kind of stretching it thin. And then other people were like, give me all the fucking CG dragons.
Yeah, admittedly, like, I saw the first one a couple times in theaters just because it was exciting, and like this is like a thing you and I like. Lord of the Rings hit us at the perfect time.
Perfect timing, perfect everything. Yeah, those movies remain nostalgic forever.
It's our Star Wars.
It really,
legitimately,
yeah.
And I'm not trying to be hyperbolic or anything like that. Like it factually, like, for our age group, when it came out, is like when A New Hope came out in like 77 or 76, whenever it was. It's like it shattered, like it blew our fucking minds.
It is so preposterous that it did so well. I cannot believe Return of the King won. Did you know it's one of the only movies that won every Oscar it was nominated for?
Really?
11.
I knew there was a lot. I know
like the fact that it like, and I think that just validates like everything, like it wasn't just like this weird nerd culture thing. It was like it propelled fantasy to the mainstream.
But the books themselves were like, they were lightning in a bottle to begin with. Like like Tolkien was like ahead of the curve, man. Like
and it's just crazy though, because like how many of these projects have you seen not go well? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you think about
like Peter Jackson, he had barely any experience, and he decided he was going to shoot them all in a row, sometimes out of order, and he's going to cast Aragorn like a week or two before they start filming. Like, there were so many opportunities for that entire thing to fucking explode and go badly, and it just somehow didn't.
God, I love those movies.
God, it might be time for a rewatch. Anyway,
but like
the
so
trilogy
the
for the
question.
Hobbit, yeah.
Like, I didn't care. It was like, for me personally, it was, again, for me, it was fucking obvious what they were doing. It was an absolute money suck. They were not, I don't think they were trying to give it the respect that they had given the original trilogy.
Yeah,
so,
which is just so weird, because the trilogy, the original one, was so faithful and so respectful. And then the money grab, like 5-10 years later, it's like, what?
So the money grab too, and like, this is, for me personally, like I think any, red-blooded teenager, like, you go through that point where you're not an elitist, but like, you're very like highbrow. You're like, no, that's not a classic movie. That's, that's a shitty movie. But like, when those movies were in, like, I think when, like, around that time when those were coming out, I kind of, and Jeff is the testament to this. He's always had the philosophy, and it rubbed off on me around this time of, like, it's a movie, like, a lot of work went into it, and if there's something redeemable, like, sometimes that's just enough, and when I saw those movies, everyone was shitting on them, especially like the second and third one. It's like, yeah, but like, there was really cool shit in them, and like, there was things, people that read the book, there was some love and tender care put into them. Like, they weren't just, fly by night. There was a lot of redeeming parts to them. And this goes back to our conversation earlier. Like, sometimes the internet is just a little ruthless to be ruthless. And, that was just around the time, like I said, I kind of had discovered this new philosophy of, like, just enjoy the things you like. Like, just go see a movie, just watch a movie. You don't have to be super hypercritical. Like, it's funny because, like, we have this show where we analyze our favorite anime and all that, and we're discussing it now, but like, it's
no, but you don't see the point in unnecessarily dunking on things.
No, absolutely.
Right.
And this goes back, this is kind of like, I can swing into Game of Thrones a little bit here, because I never read the books. I was always interested, like, I think there was that 1 or 2 seasons, like, you were at the house, with like Devin and Jeff and Joe, like, we were all watching Game of Thrones
watch it together week to week, yeah.
And I would just, Devin and I would just sit there and be awe of, like, listening to you and Joey talk about the lore, and it was so interesting, and there was respect for the show. And I know in that last season it kind of fell apart there, but like, even for me, like, like, I wasn't that bummed or upset about it, because like, I didn't have that connection to it. And I think the problem with Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit is they've been around for so much longer, so many more eyes and hands have gotten on those products and worlds, like, people can be a little more critical of.
Yeah.
And
when it's that beloved by that many people, right?
Exactly. So like, you're bound to see that. And like this, but then in the same swoop, like the Star Wars stuff, I legitimately don't think, some of that stuff is just blatantly bad. It baffles me that people will shit talk Rogue One, like, right, to like no extent. People will shit talk Solo, which is not a bad movie. I'll die on that hill. And people's, and like, it's like, they're good movies. They have redeeming stuff. And even The Last Jedi, like, there's a lot of things I don't like about that movie.
Yeah.
But there's also some stuff that I was blown away by. Like, there's a scene in Last Jedi that very few movies have captured a moment for me of just, like, in awe. Like, the theater was...
What's the scene?
The scene where they're finally getting away, or they're in the process of getting away, and Laura Dern's character...
She drives... Yeah, the light speed smash.
She does the light speed smash, and the theater, like, the movie goes silent. It was just me and all I could hear was just, like, my breathing and my tinnitus. And the silence. And then, like, I was in awe. Like, there is redeeming moments.
Hell of a scene, yeah.
And I don't know. I think people are too hard on shit. Like,
the Star Wars one is so interesting. Yeah. Not to, like, completely go down that rabbit hole, but, like, it's just, it was almost a case of, like, how we've talked about recently, like, on this podcast, like, the idea of, like, creative freedom, like, what happened to David Ayer with Suicide Squad, what happened to Zack Snyder with Justice League, and, like, you get a studio that kind of neuters the artist's vision, and they tamper with it, and you end up with like kind of like a half, like kind of watered down version, right? Of a bit of a compromise, and as a result, like nobody's happy. The studio isn't happy, and neither is the director. And then every now and again, you get something like Guardians or Thor Ragnarok, like Guardians of the Galaxy, where it seems like James Gunn like ejaculated his personality into that movie.
Yeah.
Like that's just like, it is so uncompromising. And same with Ragnarok. It is like it that is just so blatantly Taika Waititi. And they were both slam dunks and both made all the money in the world. It felt to me like Star Wars just gave JJ and Ryan, what's his name?
Ryan Johnson.
Ryan Johnson. They're like, yo, like, do what you want with like this incredibly huge franchise. Like, he just seemed to like get to make whatever decisions he wanted to make.
But I don't think that was the case. I think it was like the image to the public that they could do what they wanted, but there was so much meddling by the studios.
Yeah, I don't know.
That was the big problem.
What I remember, like, I mean, this was like the critical thought at the moment was that like JJ was pretty upfront in that he had nothing to do with Last Jedi, and he was just sort of serving like a launch pad to Ryan Johnson, and Ryan Johnson got to do what he wanted to do.
Sure.
And like it just felt like the choice he made so many people fucking angry, and I was like, it's the idea of like creative freedom is very interesting until you have it and you make choices that people hate you for. Like with like D&D on Game of Thrones, like they sort of ran out of source material and they had 100% creative control. Right? HBO was like, yo, we'll do 10 seasons. They're like, no, we got this.
Yeah.
And they had all, like they got to do whatever they wanted to do. And that like works until the audience just like is like, wait a minute, I don't know if I'm on board with these decisions that you're making.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
Anyway, a random tangent about that.
Yeah, what a rabbit hole. Well, that's what these conversations are for. Rabbit holes.
Yeah. Last one I had was Love, Death, and Robots is getting season 2 and 3.
Oh yeah, baby! I was so excited for that.
And
soon,
I think
very soon.
Around this time, like in the next week or two, the Demon Slayer movie is like supposed to hit. But, like, we're in lockdown till May.
Oh, Dave, yeah, we ain't going nowhere.
So, like, I don't know what's going to happen with that. Like, I haven't heard anything updated about it. I heard that Funimation put together a 3-episode special.
Yes.
Recapping, like, the end of season 1. I haven't seen that, but...
Because the other thing, too, I think next week is that Yusuke anime also drops.
Dude, there's a bunch of shit coming out. There's one called Shaman King as well.
Oh, I think that's in Netflix jail until like the summer for us.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's just in Japan. They have that for now.
Netflix.
What else? Yeah, what else did I watch? What was it? Anyway, actually, it was funny. Leanna was talking to a friend of hers from college, and they were just catching up, and he was saying he had been watching a lot of anime lately. I guess him and a buddy went in on a Crunchyroll account there, and so I was curious. I was like, well, ask him what he's been watching, and he threw 2 recommendations my way. One that's been on I have had my eye on for a little while. Black Clover.
Yeah, that's
know
been,
nothing
like,
about it.
Yeah,
I know it just
nothing
ended
either.
I know it just ended, and it was like at least the most recent season was quite good. But also, Jujutsu Kaisen was highly recommended to us.
Dude, I think so close to watching the pilot the other day.
I think you and I should just do it. Like we should just get into it and talk about it, because we have. It sounds like in the next couple of weeks we have a pretty heavy onslaught of stuff coming our way, like in the anime department. So. Yeah. And then also other the Bad Batch starts soon too, and for Star Wars there, so there's gonna be a lot of stuff to watch.
I think I'm gonna keep up with this To Your Eternity thing week to week, because it's pretty great. But yeah, I'll check out this Made in Abyss thing, and if you're gonna try the pilot for Jujutsu Kaisen, I might as well. I can just sort of see where we land.
Let's save it to Sunday. We'll do a Sunday morning. We'll do maybe an after lunch watch, and then we'll chit chat about it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that works
All
for
right,
me.
buddy. Well, I gotta start getting ready for bed there.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, for still listening. Thanks. Have a good night.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Bye.